Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Monday, the 15th of September. This week, obviously, we have the rate cut decision. It's more likely than not going to be a cut of about 0.25 basis points. That's coming in at 7 p.m. UK time. That's about 6 UTC on Wednesday. So I will not be streaming on Wednesday as per usual, which I probably should stream on Wednesdays. But anyway, that's going to be a volatile day. So just keep that in mind when you're trading this week. In terms of the long to short ratio, we've been kind of grinding around 50-50 for the weekend. But we still do have slightly more longs on the market, but it's nothing too crazy to care about. It's slightly grinding up, but nothing crazy. As you can see, we nearly made the crossover, but we are still slightly majority long on the long to short ratio. So yeah, you can see that we've been kind of trying to cross over, but we haven't quite. The recent price action just on this, not the previous 1 hour candle, the one before, we have seen some localized breakdowns on the Bitcoin price. So this high at 116.5 is important to gain back. We have retested this low at 115k from 115k now, so we could see a little bit of a breakdown here, especially as longs are increasing in the hourly structure. So yeah, I'm kind of feeling a breakdown as well, just off this very immediate data that we've seen. Coin anchor, please. In terms of the order book, we are in some longs right now. We're in some long liquidity. This might provide a little bit of a bounce just before American stuff opens. We have the volume node sitting about 115 let's call it 115.8. So that also could be a place where we could potentially reject from if we get a bad 4-hour close down here below structure. So watch it today. We'll just have a look at the chart in a second. In terms of liquidity, there's a little spot below us at 114k. It's a little bit above us, but it really thins out about 118.5, where there's a liquidity dead zone or liquidation dead zone. Let's just go to the 1 week and the 2 week. Let's get a better little. Yeah, we've got a ton of liquidity below us, all the way down to like 10. Let's call it 1095. Above us, it thins out about 118.5. We've got a little bit at 120. Most of the high stuff above us is about 117.8, 118. So interesting for sure. We definitely have more liquidity to the downside now than the upside. And we are seeing some localized breakdowns in the local price action as well. So it'd be really nasty if we like did this like grindy down, like up down grindy down into like 10, 108, 107 for like a whole month, and then we just stacked a crazy amount of short liquidity and then just ripped it all in one go, and then that was the top. But yeah, we have taken quite a lot of stuff to the upside. We're seeing an equal high around 116.5 and a localized breakdown, so we could be going to hunt down the stuff below us now this week. And yeah, apart from that, nodes there, order book. Let's just zoom in a little bit. We do have this is about 360 Bitcoin. It's quite a lot. 360 Bitcoin. These are big orders over here, big orders, and they look legit. So this is right at the bottom of the volume area. Try and hold us. So we'll have to see how this 4-hour close goes. Okay, let's change the old screen. A little bit laggy, but no problem. Right, everyone should be able to see that. Let me get the chat up as well. That's just my theory. Oh, okay, yeah, I already read that. Nah, it's a good theory. I'm not saying that's not gonna happen at all. So yeah, Bitcoin. We're seeing some localized breakdowns. The daily is looking a little bit exhausted here. Um, we've got a nice big wick which failed to gain August. We actually did gain it on Friday. We did 2 daily candle closes above August, and then we've since started to fail it. So on the 4-hour, it's gonna look like we need to gain back. Let's just call it August. We'll call it 116k. We do have a little bit of overlapping resistance above us now, so this is going to be resistance holding us down this week. Of course, if we can gain like 116, 116.5, we're going to go higher. If not, potentially we're going to go all the way back down and hunt. We do have a little bit of a dead zone at 111, so that's going to be my first target this week, 111k. And then, of course, as you guys know, we've got a ton of liquidity down here as well that possibly could get swept. But yeah, I'm also looking slightly more to the downside. We'll have to see how this 4-hour candle closes because we need to close underneath. Oops, get my magnet here for it to confirm. Even if it doesn't close below there, it's still got a good chance of breaking down, as we have done some localized breakdowns on the 1 hour. So yeah, anywhere in here, potentially an area of rejection into the rate cut decision. But I can take that blue line off now because we've done the trend change. Trend change up on the daily time frame. It's good. We would like to see some holds at around 110, 111k. That's what I'm looking at. So yeah, also if we get some big wicks down into like 107, 108, we obviously want to close daily candles above September. So watch out for that as well. Could get wicky this week. Could definitely get wicky this week, which is why I still have a lot of my altcoin orders still set in the same place from last week. Yeah. Anyway, let's actually do weekly charts because we do have some weekly closes to go at, and I'm going to turn all of that stuff off so we can just see it a little bit more clearly. Bitcoin weekly time frame looking quite good. We've closed a weekly candle below some of these levels. It's really nice. We've obviously got these up here at like 119, 119.5. That's going to be the next target on the weekly time frame if we can keep this structure. Weekly low sitting at 108. Yeah, nothing too crazy to say on Bitcoin. Let's just have a look at some of these. Yeah, cash flow coming out. The retail stablecoin demand is looking quite good. Has broken out of its bearish downtrend, and it is above the midline. So we could have a little bit more to run, but because this oscillator is completely bear divving, I do think that like if we got maybe something like this and that one last divergent high, that might be it, and then we'll like see like something like that, and then a retest and then bang. So we are getting quite close, but who knows at this moment in time. The weekly combination man is still holding quite tight. We've got cash flow out on the weekly time frame. Bearish divergence. Yeah, I still do think we're going to at least come up on 120, or we'll see of the price action then, and if we make another like divergent high up to like towards 130k. But yeah, that's about it for Bitcoin. Expecting 111. Let's have a look at the totals. So really good weekly close on total one. Really good weekly close. We've actually closed above. Why is this not magneting off? Okay, we actually closed above the weekly all-time high swing. We're currently bullishly backtesting it now on this weekly candle. Of course, super overbought. Bearish divergence doesn't have to play out just yet. Can stay up here for a month or two. But it will play out at some point, and if we start getting some breakdowns, yeah, it's just going to be a big cascade effect. But that was a really good weekly close. It's signaling that it's not completely over yet, and we still have maybe a little bit more to go. We do have the weekly combination man here. We do have bearish divergence on the weekly time frame. These are big signals as well. We also have trend change as well on the weekly harmony oscillator. These are big signals, definitely not to be ignored. But until we see some actual breakdowns on the price, we will not be acting on it too much because it's still a bull market. So yeah, good close on the weekly. That's all we can say. Obviously, keep an eye on the metrics. They are super overbought, but yeah, until we start closing some levels below like 3.6, it looks completely fine in the local price action. Nothing too crazy. Sorry. Total 2. Let's take that off. That's kind of done. Quite a similar story. We had a nice close above the weekly all-time high swing from last bull market. We also have a similar one at 1.61 and 1.64. This is resistance. We closed a really nice weekly candle above it last week. This is potentially signaling, you know, the last hurrah breakout. If we get a dip, we kind of just want to hold September. And yeah, again, we've got some bearish divergence on the weekly time frame. This is getting quite overbought as well. Can stay up here for a little bit longer, but yeah, this has a little bit more legs to go at least. Let's actually have a look at this on the daily time frame. Yeah, significant new highs. September is going to be the level to hold. We've also got support like just in here. EMA over the previous weekly open. Yeah, we just want to hold sort of like this area between September and 1.6 on total 2. Looking good, looking good. I should actually just check auto charting tools. Sorry. Oof. Anyway. Yeah, liquidations are always going to look like that. Total 3 looking slightly worse. We didn't actually get a weekly close above the all-time high swing. The previous all-time high swing is there, which we have closed above, which is quite nice. Hopefully that's going to be support. Again, bearish divergence on the weekly time frame to be expected. We do have the weekly combination band kind of holding us down here. We've got some bearish divergence as well. We're getting into the overbought territory. But as of right now, we do have the weekly breakout. So on the daily time frame, yep, we just kind of want to hold. Where's the auto trying? In between again, the previous weekly open, and I think that's September down there. This is the area that we want to hold when we come back down. So something like this, maybe a bearish back test of the weekly open, down into these levels, maybe get some like wicks to like steal this liquidity, and then we want to see a full-on breakout. When we sort of grind down, I would kind of like this to be sort of like this, just like low step laddering down, build that short liquidity, then get like the wick and then rip it all. That'd be really nice. Last but not least, others. Testing yearly open right now, it's going to be resistance. Nothing too crazy to say. This has still got actually quite a lot of room to run this chart. Again, very simple. Previous weekly open, September lows, they're going to be important to hold on the daily time frame. Anyway, not really too much else to say on that. Bitcoin DOM, still in a downtrend until it gains something of importance. Nothing too much to say on this. That's probably going to be February. If we gain back February on the daily time frame, it's going to mean that we're starting to change the trend. You're looking for bullish backtest in between, probably on the yearly open. Apart from that, still in a downtrend. Nothing too crazy to say. USD dominance not really doing anything. DXY, we'll have to wait for the open on that. And ETH Bitcoin, still in an uptrend on the daily. So we do have some hidden bullish on the daily time frame that came in on Thursday last week, so just before the big candle on Friday. Do have some bearish divergence coming on the daily time frame, so if we break this low around December, we're going to see a fall down to the yearly open, but again, nothing too crazy. Just going to see some potential pullbacks, and we'll see what happens when we get down into this area for alts. So yeah, patience. ETH weekly time frame. Let me just put this on. So ETH, I think the ETH weekly close was quite bad. The other weekly close that I show, weekly closes that I have showed you today, they've all closed above the all-time high weekly swing. So the price action is looking a lot better on other things than it is on ETH. I do think ETH is looking slightly toppy. We obviously do have support at 4.25, 4.3, some hidden bullish divergence on the daily, but we have failed to make a new high, and we are kind of failing the weekly underneath the weekly all-time high swing as of right now. So this is just pure price action. Important low here, important high here. Whichever breaks first. If it breaks down here, for example, on the daily time frame, let's just go. We get some daily candles below here. You're looking to potentially short the retest. Again, if you get a bounce and you get a breakout of this high, you're looking potentially long the retest there. Simples. I'm leaning more towards potentially the downside, but yeah, we'll have to see. Let me just flick on all the charting tools. Yeah, we've got September there. Again, this is heavy support. You want to look for some candle closes below before you start shorting, because the trend is still up and we are still in a bull market. But maybe if we just go to the 4 hour on ETH, because I do think there potentially could be a decent little trade on here. If we get a bounce from the 4 hour combination band, basically what you don't want to do is close candles. Well, what you do want to do if you're looking for upside, you basically could maybe short the weekly open to the bottom of this structure here, where we just did that wick on, this was the previous 4 hour candle here, this wick. There's a potential short in between there and there. If you gain that structure, you're going to go all the way to the highs, and you could try again there. But if not, I kind of want to see us tag all the way down here in this overlapping support again. So it's kind of just stuck in the range between September here, 4.4, and kind of like 4.65 here. In the meantime, there could be a couple good scalping opportunities here, especially if you go to like the hourly. You go, okay, where do we break down from? Okay, here, that's what we need to gain back. We also have the weekly open here. This is also untested. Combination bands coming down. Okay, this is my short zone potentially. My stop's going to be above here. Bang. If we come back down here, retest it, then this is the long zone, whatever, above September. You know the gist. TP, 50% out, 50% out, leave positions, whatever runs. So yeah, I do think there's a little bit of opportunity there on ETH early on in the week to maybe make a few percentage. What actually is this range? This is about, yeah, 6-7%, not too bad. If you're looking at 1% raw stops. Not bad at all, guys. So, Solana. Solana pullback is going to be engaged quite soon. Of course, we can't really say it right now. We are bullishly backtesting these levels, but on the 4 hour, we're getting some very localized breakdown. So you can see here, if I just zoom in, that is the area of interest. Oh, whoops, I accidentally got rid of auto charting tools. This is the area of interest. This also lines up with December and the weekly, daily weekly open. That's the area of interest. That's the high around this daily. This is potentially your short zone now, because we have broken down locally on the 4 hour from there. We might get a little bit of a bounce in between February and this previous daily open here. There might even be a 4 hour. Yep, there's a 4 hour combination band. Might see a bounce. If we don't gain, potentially looking to short lower down into the structure. I have sold some of my spot. I was saying that 240 to 250 is going to be an area to take profit. I've sold about half my bag. I just want to retain some level of liquidity and some level of cash. Turned out it was pretty much spot on between 240 and 250. I mean, 240 was a little bit low down, but 240 and 250 is about like that. So about a 4% range where I just had some spot limit orders there. And yeah, you might see a little bit of a short-term bounce from this area right here, back up into here on Sol. Excuse me. So yeah, not looking too bad. Definitely need some scalp opportunity early on in the week available for some of these coins. For me, it might be something like this: Wick, regain Feb, pump all the way back into like December daily weekly open. Then I might build a little bit of a short out here, depending on the risk. Let me just have a look and see actually what the range is. Range is a bit long. I might have to be on 3x maybe, but yeah, we really don't want to gain 244 if you're trying to short, basically. On Solana. Gotta go, brother. Take care. I'll see you later, Linsme, bro. Have a good one, mate. So yeah, that's Solana. Anyway, expecting a pullback. This is definitely done its thing, or has nearly done its thing. Let's have a look. Yeah, weekly combination man as well. Definitely on the first tap of the weekly combination man, it's always going to be probably a pullback. I mean, the last time we did it, we got one tap. Let's just have a look at this quickly. Mondays are always for stuff like this. One tap, we did about a 36% dump. Then we did a second pump up, which wicked 75%. Like, these are no small moves. And then from that wick, we did a 67% dump. It's big. It's big stuff, guys. Again, if we do see like one more divergent pump up, so like maybe this goes down and then it does that, and then that diverges, and then this goes down and does that, and then that diverges, and we do one more high around 252, 253. Definitely again going to be an area to potentially short, but just watch out because we do need to fail again the weekly open December if we do that. But yeah, it's looking a little bit exhausted as of right now. So Popcat, yeah, currently breaking down pretty hard on this 4-hour candle that we do have. Daily time frame, obviously we did some really good closes up here. We actually didn't get closes above Q3 or around here. This is obviously the resistance zone, but we do have closes above here and here. So I'm going to take those off now, just so the charts are easier to see. In terms of the breakdown, potentially we're just looking for something like this. If we get all the way back down into September and the overlapping support is going to be an area to potentially bid on the odd Popcataroo. So yeah, have to see. Might get a little bit of a bounce from this sort of area here. Back up, fail, one more down into support, and then yeah, we'll see. Definitely going to be hunting some longs throughout this week, and yeah, I won't be like doing too much like in and out trading on Wednesday for sure. I'll be more like waiting for some of my orders to be hit. So Doge yet continuing its breakout towards 3233. Set a new high from here, which is really good. New high, bang. Currently failing below it. We actually did a little bit of a bounce and then a really bearish backtest here. Failure. If we see a bounce from here, potentially just looking for the daily weekly open to fail and then to come all the way back down into 2-4. But in general, you could even pull a fib from here to here and get like a buy zone in between here above September. So if you get something like, whoops, no, not quite, something like that, bounce, failure into here, then it's going to start looking like really good. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. I like that quite a lot, actually. Oh, I do like that quite a lot. Yeah, that's looking good. I really want to see like bounce, failure, rate cut decision, big wick, regain like this, and then just blast. That'd be fucking perfect. That would literally be perfect. Like around Wednesday, yeah, if we're sort of like doing this dump here, and then I see like really big wicks under here, and then start seeing some regains, it's gonna be like full on blow off top. But anyway, yeah, that's looking pretty good. Just wants more upside. Local price action good. Don't want to lose these lows here. Very important. So the odd Fartaruni coin. So Fartcoin has done some minor gains, came up and hit resistance here. This is the big one around the yearly open and 9.7. So just this area here. Obviously going to be good resistance. We've done one really nice test of it so far. All we want to do is put in a high low on the daily time frame now. So obviously, again, these lows super important. Actually, it's more like this one here. We don't want to start breaking September and stuff like that. If we do, it's going to start looking really hairy. But yeah, until we do that, looking potentially pretty good. I will be bidding this area. And yeah, we just don't want to lose this. Until then, it's probably looking like more downside than not, just because of these really local breakdowns here. So this was support, sorry, this was resistance here, and we got supported on it here. Did a little bounce up into the yearly open, created some more overlapping supply there. Have since broken back down below here, sneaky closes below. Bearish retest Feb level, open daily weekly open underneath this previous low, that's underneath. And then further breakdown from here. So potentially, like if you see a bounce from this area, you're just looking to potentially short here, back down into the lows. But I'll only take things like this if the risk seems fine to me. So for example, daily weekly open up to here, it's about 3. Yeah, maybe. Maybe not. I'll have to have a look after this session. Hype. Really good weekly close. Actually closed below the 5.618 fib that I do have on. So, yep. Kind of expecting a little bit of a pullback here as well. Daily time frame, barely holding on to the weekly open. We're actually getting some trend change, some bearish divergence on the daily time frame as well on the retail stablecoin demand. Overbought, dot, looking fine. Support around September again. So, yeah, targeting in between weekly open September, as like with a lot of other altcoins. If the daily combination band is just below September as well, with support across this area as well, definitely going to be an area of interest for me this week. Can even go on to the 4 hour and obviously just do like something like that. There's 786. 786, 886, just along September, below the weekly open. Okay, fine. Area of interest. Yeah, looking like it's kind of failing and breaking down here. Excuse me. Pepe coming back down. I don't know if we'll really look into this. Does anyone have anything in specific that they want me to look at? Or should I just keep running through some of these alts? Let's take off these brushes. So Pepe, nice test of the highs around here. Well, it's more like actually the low of that high there. But anyway, nice test of the highs. Nice close above this previous high. Change of structure. Ability to pull a new fib now from there. Actually hit the daily combination band kind of perfectly. Take those off. Yep, new high from this high, like I said. Potential to hold in here for an actual bounce all the way up, back up to the weekly open. So could be a decent little like scalp trade in here. But again, actually this is still low key in an uptrend on the 4 hour, especially if it holds in here. We'd have to do like a failure around there for it to. Why is that line? What's that line doing there? Yeah, interesting. Might see a little bit of a bounce here up to June weekly open on the odd peps. Very interesting. That's about 2% stop as well. Not too bad risk on this as well, so might be decent for a little bounce trade along Q4, along the Q4. Sui again coming back down to support. Let's go to daily. Close new high out above here, looking good. Potentially just bullishly back testing this area now. Looking quite good. Not too bad. In the 4 hour combination band, again, could see a little bit of a bounce from this area in here. But yeah, if we can't gain the daily weekly open, basically what we just did here, this little bit failure on all the coins, like these 4 candles here. If we can't gain that back where the yearly open is, we're potentially going to go a little bit further down into support, especially with the rate cards. Just yeah. So I did think it was last week that we were getting the decision, but it was just CPI. If we get like bearish retest, we don't hold here. I'm obviously got some bids down at the lows just in case we do some like stuff this week. But yeah, again, turbo's kind of coming back down into the buy area. Waiting for a little bit lower here, around 3.9. I want to see here. And yeah, again, just a little bit of patience needs to be exercised. We might get some naughty wicks and some scary stuff this week around CPI, around the rate cut decision. So try to not be too scared out of your positions, but also you obviously need set stops if we go a little bit further down. But yeah, just looking pretty decent. Might just have a little bit of a lull week, and then we'll let the market kind of digest the rate cut decision on Wednesday. And yeah, hopefully we don't take too long grinding this price action down. But yeah, it's looking pretty good. What's AVAX doing? Yeah, just doing some localized breakdowns again. This hasn't actually really broke down yet because we do have a most recent high. We've got the low here. So if this comes back and gains the weekly open, it's going to go a little bit higher. But yeah, we'll see. These 4 hour candles look like they're wicking. We might see a little bit of a bounce up to daily weekly opens in the short term. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting week this week. I definitely might try some very, very short, like lower time frame scalps here. Just for maybe a little bit of a bounce up towards the daily weekly open in these levels. And then I will potentially try cover some shorts. Try get something on between today and tomorrow. So I'll be active in the altcoin chat today because I am going to be online. And do a nice trading session today and just into tomorrow. And then yeah. So, anyone got anything specific that they want me to look at? If not, any updates, any trades they need help with, any indicator, explanation, or questions, feel free to slap them in the chat now. If not, we might just go for a nice chill little Monday. Yeah, it's just very closely broken down. Again, something like this has been tested. This overlapping supply, this has been tested. The low of this swing here has not been tested yet. So let me put some like boxes on for people that don't really know what I'm talking about. This has been tested bearishly. What hasn't been tested, it's kind of like basically just this area here. To the downside, I mean, as well. So little breakdown of level, bearish retest in here, bang, a little lower, bearish retest at the bottom, bang, a little lower, bearish retest at the bottom, bang, a little lower into support. That's how it looks like on the hourly. So yes, can you check on Mask Soul and Troll Soul? Yeah, bro. So Mask Soul. Let's take that off. Maxi. Is this the one? Yeah. Mask Soul USDT. All good. Oh, what the fuck is this, bro? Okay. Whoops. Let's just have a look at this Stuba. It's probably something like that. Yeah, we're along the AA6. We've done some very recent 4-hour gains. We've obviously got the low around there. Any support on the 4-hour? Yeah, coming down into support. I mean, I do think the market is going to take a little bit more of a tumble, and this seems to kind of be on its last legs already. You've obviously got two buy zones, very simply. On the 4-hour, you've obviously got this one at the lows, and you got one which is a lot closer. You did some nice gains from here. Did a nice new close. So there's a potential 4-hour Stuba on this. I've put the like daily one on as well from this big high, because this is the A86 area. So basically, you don't really want to start closing below these lows in here. Otherwise, you're going to go all the way back down to these lows. But potentially, this is an area to bid. Potentially. But I don't really like this chart. I mean, it doesn't look that bad, but it looks a bit like if Bitcoin's going to go down to 111, this is going to do like this. But who knows? Troll Soul USDTP. Yeah, I think I did have a look at this on the spot, didn't I? Yeah. This is breaking down. So this didn't even get all the way up to the pocket. It actually did a bearish retest of the 618. and is now kind of failing. We've got daily weekly open around this daily low that I put on, which is interesting. This is obviously the level that you wanted to hold for this to be the deviation. It's probably not now a deviation. This is definitely a confirmed lower low. And yeah, we look like we're going to do something like this. Bow, bearish retest all the way back down into here. This is looking like it wants to fucking go down to Goblin Town, really. Again, you're coming to support, but you might see a little bit of a bounce, but you really need to gain sort of like this back now if you want to have any chance of going higher. It's probably, yeah, because that's the bearish retest, yeah. So not looking great, not looking great. Nah, not looking great. Do some bullish div on the retail stablecoin demand. We are getting oversold on the 4 hour as well. So like I said, you could see a little bit of a bounce from these lows, but I don't think that looks very good. If you look at the daily time frame, rough. And there's just nothing in the way till like down here. So it's just rough, bro. That's like, yeah. It's a shit coin, isn't it? Yep. So yeah, as always this week, well, not as always, but I'm still going to be waiting for some of the things that I have orders on and positions. My orders are a bit like old, to be honest. So some of them are like really low down, but I am going to maybe change some of them a little bit and just put them towards the lows if we get some nice wicks this week. I'm looking for some big wicks out to the downside. That's what I'm looking for this week. And I want to get into some nice lowish leverage positions. I might even set some on some really volatile stuff. I'll probably maybe even set some like 2x. And then just because it's wicking, you want to be on lowest leverage possible. And then when you start seeing the regains, you can put it up to like 3 or 4 and then put the rest of your margin in above your entry and stuff like that. Yeah. So coins that I have orders on quite low down, I will just say Turbo Render. I don't even know about this. Turbo Render, Hype, of course, Injective, Whiff, AVAX, Popcat, Doge, Sol. Some of them are really old though. What else? Bonk. What else? Chill Guy, Pepe. Farcoin, of course. Just loads. I've just got loads of orders strewn around towards the lows if it gets really wicky this week. So yeah. What are the targets on that orders more or less? What do you mean? The ones you just named, well, they're just at the lows. So they were from before last week. So for example, on Render, I still have orders set around, it's just like around in here. I basically set them all around Monday last week, and we just kind of blasted and left everyone behind. And I just like, I'm not gonna FOMO. I'm not gonna FOMO here. So I'm just gonna leave them. And then if we do like that, something like that, like, then yeah. Just note that like we could see some really naughty price action this week, some really volatile stuff. So I am on quite low leverage. But yeah. Turbo is actually coming slightly down into the buy zone. Where did I put my turbo chart? Turbo. Yeah, I'm on it right now. What am I doing? Yeah, it's kind of coming into the buy zone right now. Well, coming quite close. Like 3.8, 3.9, 3.8. Then obviously has the potential to test all the way on the Q3 as well. We don't want to lose. We really don't want to lose this structure here. But again, you could wick all the way down into Q3 as well. But yeah, want to put in some higher lows on the daily. So I'll stop my recording. Obviously not financial advice for YouTube. Stop.